Welcome to the Wood Brothers Podcast. My name is John. We're going to give you the top 10 highlights from Raw and SmackDown this week. My little brother Drew is going to join me, so check it out and don't forget to like and subscribe. Number 10. Tye Dillinger versus Shinsuke Nakamura from SmackDown. This match deserves a much higher place on the list, of course.
It does.
But the obvious fact is it had to be number 10.
It absolutely had to be. It was perfect.
Yeah, what did you think of the Dillinger Nakamura match before I get into my thoughts?
I'll tell you, what I thought was really neat about this is I actually had just been sitting down on Tuesday afternoon, and I sat down and I watched TakeOver Toronto. And so you have, it actually starts the show, the Toronto fight, I call it, which is Bobby Roode taking on Tye Dillinger. And they had, that was a great match. They tore the house down, and so it was a real treat for me to get to see Tye Dillinger that same night have a heck of a match on SmackDown against Nakamura.
Did you see the Twitter thing that started it all?
I didn't. I'd missed it.
It was basically just Nakamura doing his, 10 thing, and Tye Dillinger butted in and was like, well, if you're going to talk about 10, hello. After that point, Paige shows up, again, on Twitter, and basically like, okay, you guys can fight each other on Tuesday, and sort of went from there. So it was an interesting build-up. It showed again how WWE is trying to use social media a little bit more to push their stuff.
Doing it so well lately too.
They're not doing too bad at it. Still not sure it's a great strategy, but we'll see. What I really learned from this is the highlight of the match, which was Nakamura was doing his counting to 10 thing to build up his last man standing match with Styles.
Yeah.
And while he was doing that, he had Dillinger down and was counting, and I got to 9. Dillinger gets himself back up on the ropes and just looks at Nakamura and gives him this defiant grin and just flashes the 10 in his face. And it was, you knew Tye Dillinger wasn't going to win this match.
No, you absolutely knew that.
But he put in a better showing than I think they had to give him, and I was entertained.
I was so happy to see him getting quality time because he is a really good performer, and man, he put in his dues in NXT. He was a workhorse, and so it's really nice to see him have moments like that.
Number 9. Corey Graves is a treasure. Raw and SmackDown. So I'm going to start by telling you why Corey Graves is a treasure and why he gets on my list.
Well, this is supposed to be a short podcast, right? Because the whys could take a while.
No, this is just from this. He earned this spot on Monday. He was great on Thursday, Thursday. Wow, listen to
nice.
me.
Old
he
school.
was great on Tuesday as well, but Monday it was one line that just made me laugh all night.
Hit me with your best shot.
What do you think it was?
There's so many. Was it? No, because she's on SmackDown.
No,
now.
he called Coach Monday Night Saxton.
Oh God, that's amazing. Oh, that's delightful. Look, Corey Graves, man. How many times can I talk about how much I enjoy listening to him? And SmackDown in particular. I'm not knocking Cole, and I'm not even knocking Coach. They have their own dynamic.
No,
on
and
Raw,
Coach is getting back into it. It's just it was that one line of just,
oh, he's amazing.
Monday Night Saxton, and it was when Kevin Owens was out doing the commentary because
Yes.
Owens was like, "Oh, is that what you're calling him now?"
Yes,
but it got glossed over, and I don't think anybody else has mentioned that line, but it was my favorite.
No, it's delightful, and I think it really speaks to the, as I was saying, I'm not knocking Cole or Coach at all. They're both great, and the dynamic on Raw is a lot of fun. But you look at the dynamic on SmackDown, and you have 3 guys who all came up through the system together. I was watching, like I said, TakeOver Toronto, and it's Phillips and Graves on commentary. And there have been other ones with Saxton and Phillips and Graves and Saxton and Phillips. And the dynamic they have on SmackDown now just brings this element of fun. And I can't help but enjoy listening to these 3 guys have fun together.
Yeah, it's a nice dynamic. It's become a lot more fun to listen to their commentary. Number 8, a dance-off that mostly didn't suck. And this, of course, was from SmackDown. Here's a shocking fact about me that I'm sure you know. I have never once found a WWE dance-off segment anything but cringe-inducing horror.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't... You hear that segment and you just go back to 2 weeks ago. It's they're trying to out-bad themselves.
Well,
take it to the next level.
Yeah, no, I go back to Santino and stuff, just the
Santino.
really awkward, terrible nonsense.
Yeah,
this wasn't bad because they're both good dancers.
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised by the fact that I didn't want to get up and get a drink. I didn't want to get up and leave the room. And
I could have left the room, I just didn't at the time. But it wasn't horrible, I guess, is why it makes the list. But it makes it at number 8.
Yeah, and that nice finish too, right? Like a nice, quite possibly the coolest thing Lana has done yet.
It was fun.
That sneak neck breaker. Good for her. A lot of fun.
Number 7, Sami Zayn, that apology on Raw. Boy, oh boy, you gotta give it to WWE, don't you? I mean, they mess up, and then they send the guy that had to be the brunt of it back out the next week to apologize to the crowd because they messed up. You gotta give Zayn some credit here.
He's working with what he's getting. He's, no secret, one of my favorites. Been a big fan of his for years. His work down in NXT is unparalleled, and I wish, all I can say really is that I wish they were giving him better.
Well, yeah, the best I could really say about this segment is he managed to make them not boo.
Yeah.
Which I think the audience was definitely ready to. I think
Absolutely.
He quelled that. He did well at that role. I hate that they put him in that position, but again, it's Sami Zayn and he's going to run with whatever you give him.
Well, yeah, and this heel Sami Zayn has been such a treasure that I think it almost kind of worked for the character in a weird way.
Number 6, Drew McIntyre. Just Drew McIntyre.
It's really all you need to say, isn't it?
Yeah, from Raw, the former chosen one, right? He didn't make his way onto the list because of his match, because the match kind of sucked. It was just a rehash of the one that Ziggler had with Chad Gable the week before. The reason he's on this list is because literally the second his music hits and he comes out, you just look and you see he drips potential.
He is the chosen one now.
He probably squirts himself before he comes out
with potential.
With just potential, just oozy potential, and it's getting dangerously close to being something else.
He's so fun to watch.
He is, and there's an intensity there that you haven't seen before. He's elevating Ziggler, which I think it was meant to be the other way around, but he's definitely elevating Ziggler to a point where I maybe want to watch him in a match again.
I think to a point, like, they are elevating each other. I really do. I mean, back when we first started doing this talking into microphones thing, we talked a little bit about, because the Superstar Shakeup had just happened.
Yeah.
And you had the Drew McIntyre call-up, the affiliation with Dolph Ziggler, and I argued that it was the best thing for both of them. And I think here we are 2 months removed.
And I was right all along.
And I was right all along. No, but more importantly, they're delivering on the potential of this incredible talent.
Well, they're starting to. I'm holding judgment until I see a real story, which it looks like they're probably going to go into Ziggler McIntyre against American Alpha.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. And it works. It works for me. I want to see... I just want to see these guys being the brutal guys that they're describing themselves as. And I can't wait for it. It's going to be great.
Number 5. The race to be the strongest clown. The Raw Tag Team Division. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. After the Superstar Shakeup happened, I didn't really give a lot of thought to how bad the Raw Tag Team Division was going to be. But boy, did they ever put it front and center this week with that absolutely horrendous food fight thing that, granted, the B Team saved it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a complete train wreck, other than the fact that when you looked at the teams in the ring, it really did seem like you were looking for the best of the worst.
Which is a real shame, because when you look at that ring had the Ascension, one of the most dominant tag teams in NXT history.
Mm-hmm.
That ring had Fandango and Tyler Breeze. Fandango had the win over Chris Jericho at WrestleMania in his debut. Tyler Breeze is the hardest working guy without a title on the roster right now. 500 plus matches in the last 3 years, no title.
Yep.
The Revival.
Why were they there? It just made them look so bad.
They are one of the greatest tag teams that the WWE has had in years.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was excited when the rumors started that they were going to be in NXT again.
I part of me would have loved to have seen that, but at the same time, if they're liking what they're doing,
that's true. I did see there was a tweet. Was it Dawson that tweeted out?
Dawson,
don't worry about me. I'm living my dream and I'm happy. So just chill.
Yeah.
So maybe we just listen.
Yeah, the man's all it was all class. It was great, and it's neat because you've seen a couple callbacks since then. Tyler Breeze recently went back to a huge. Anyway, off track a little bit.
Yeah, and Tye Dillinger the other day was at an NXT event as well.
The B Team, I think, is really going to do something fun and strong for a little while. And that'll be great because they deserve it.
Yeah, let them have a little bit of a run. I like that they've booked them as absolute clowns, but these wins that they've given them have been at least fairly strong-looking wins.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's my big question about that tag segment. Where were Authors of Pain?
They are vegetarian.
Oh, I guess so. There you go.
That's my solution.
End of story. Because those two monsters are definitely vegetarians.
Number 3. Finn Balor loses his damn mind. You know what I'm talking about. What in the name of God was he thinking?
I loved it.
He slapped Braun Strowman flat in the face.
Right in the face. Right in his 7-foot face.
Okay, badass points, I guess? But
100%.
But why?
Because he's out of his mind.
Out of his damn
He
mind.
wants his title back. He is out of his mind.
Apparently so. It just... That irked me.
Really, I actually found it a little refreshing. You know, you had it's not a character change by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a nice little shot in the arm, like a reminder that this guy is a former Universal Champion.
Maybe my problem is that I don't really understand what his character is right now.
I think that's the problem. I think that's definitely the problem, and I have ideas about how that could go, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah, it's very frustrating because he used to be the Demon King, and now he's the weird guy that grins a lot.
He just smiles all the time.
So I'm getting a little frustrated with sort of just the presentation of Balor that way, and this is just yet another situation where, yeah, what he did was cool, but I'm not sure it fits in with what they've been trying to do because I have no freaking idea what they're trying to do.
Well, it looked like they had something in mind with Gallows and Anderson, and then they shipped them to the other show to be with AJ, which
Exactly.
also makes sense.
I have no idea what they're trying to do.
AOP, cough.
Number 2. Seth Rollins finds his likely Money in the Bank opponent on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And
yep.
I guess we're going to walk with Elias.
I kind of want to see it.
Seth Rollins is going to be on the card at Money in the Bank. We didn't have any question about that, and we talked about that before.
Absolutely.
We didn't know who they were going to put him in against, but it really looks like they're going Elias now.
Yeah, and I think that's more or less where you and I landed at the time. And it's a good matchup. I mean, what's kind of neat is, you know, they both look like they came from the same clone batch, but Elias got stung by a bee. Like,
that is... I hate you.
I deserve that.
You've ruined wrestling. Thank you for that.
Nice.
I really appreciate it.
They're both very talented. You know, Seth Rollins has been workhorsing ever since he got that IC title, and long before that.
Well, we were talking about off air, right? It's Seth Rollins is the guy on Raw because they don't have a freaking champion because Brock Lesnar's a tool,
and he's filling the role seamlessly.
Like I almost feel like at this point they should just make the Universal title a part-time title.
Yeah. Or an only on pay-per-views title.
Yeah,
or,
it's foolish.
At the same time, Rollins has stepped into this role that was being held very well by Miz beforehand.
Oh yeah, well, and the crowd just suddenly decided to get behind Rollins too,
and hard too. Like they've always been behind him a little.
It was that burn it down thing, and I don't. It was such a throwaway thing that I can't remember where I saw it, but Seth even talked about how it was a throwaway thing, that Vince just suddenly didn't like the break in the music that used to be there, so they made him add something. And Burn It Down was only because of the video game, the WWE 2K18 commercials that were being filmed at the time. Mm-hmm. And that's how all that happened. But the crowd loves screaming it now.
Yeah, the crowd latched onto it. It's NX3 for the main roster.
That's really stuck in your craw, isn't it?
Oh, just a little bit. Just it makes no sense.
Well,
but
stay
people
tuned
love it.
for
People
Drew's
love it.
NXT review, where he talks about EC3.
Just a little.
And stops talking about it on my Raw and SmackDown review.
All right.
Number 1. Samoa Joe steals the whole show again. SmackDown.
Put it in his pocket and ran away with it.
He started the show with an amazing promo.
Yeah, as always, just killer.
That Big Cass failed to ruin.
Despite his best efforts.
Actually, you gotta give him credit. He's doing a little bit better. But I'm not here to talk about Big Cass.
No.
We can complain about Colin Cassidy all day long. That's not the point. The point is, Samoa Joe cuts a promo like nobody else.
He's a master.
His addition to SmackDown was such a brilliant brain stroke, which sounds gross but isn't.
Yeah.
And SmackDown needed something like that in a top heel. They really needed somebody that was going to go out there and sound believable. From the very second you hear, come on, you just know what's coming. He goes out, he cuts a fantastic promo, whether he's talking into a cell phone or not.
Yep.
It's stunning. And so he is once again my number 1.
That was what floored me is a couple weeks ago where he did that Selly promo. And it was awesome. I've never seen a cell phone promo, because they've all been cutting them on the shows lately. I haven't seen one done that well. And to say that Joe is the best talker on SmackDown, I don't think is an overstatement. And we're talking about a roster that also includes The Miz and Carmella. And
dude, Carmella is not as good on the mic as you think she is.
I
don't have anything against Carmella.
Top women's heel who can actually talk on the mic.
She's alright.
Carmella and Bliss, I think, are the only two.
Alexa Bliss is by far the best heel female on the roster.
On the mic, yeah. Well, in general, yeah.
Anyway, we've moved away from Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe,
from a very large man to a very tiny woman.
Yeah. Samoa Joe, I mean, His performance in that match was mind-blowing. So was Bryan's, and Cass did a great job.
No, it was a fun triple threat.
It was a really
and
good
I'm
match.
glad, but I am glad that Joe's the one that's going on, because I didn't want to see Cassidy in there. Cassidy. I didn't want to see Big Cass in there. And honestly, I don't want to see Daniel Bryan anywhere near a ladder match.
Well, I mean, that's where you and I differ on the Daniel Bryan.
I don't need that kind of stress in my life when I'm watching wrestling.
I don't like the idea of him shoehorned into some sort of feud here, and there's not a whole lot else for him to do at the pay-per-view than to fight Big Cass.
Well, sure, but at least you don't have him dying.
Well, no, very, very true. Very true. It's surprising to me that they're not approaching him at least on the outskirts of the main event picture.
Well, the rumor is he hasn't signed yet. He hasn't re-signed.
I guess that's a fair point.
So they're kind of keeping him mid-cardy just in case.
Yeah.
That's the rumor. We don't confirm it. We didn't dig it up. We just blab about it on air.
Samoa Joe is a master. He's a treasure. Like you said, he's a treasure.
All right, well, that's my top 10 list. Do you have anything left to say to the good people at home about Raw and SmackDown this week?
They were better than last week.
Huzzah!